From allegedly delaying the release of a Fast and Furious film to disrespecting a co-star on social media, Dwayne Johnson has had problems with quite a few Hollywood stars. And today, we're looking at them, starting with his beef with Tyrese Gibson.
Special night. It's a special night. This is the first time that we have all been out together as a family.
Rock's relationship with his Fast and Furious co-stars turned really bad, especially before the release of Fast and Furious 9. Like, no one saw it coming though. Now, Johnson's addition to the Fast and Furious franchise was a really good one. He had made quite an impact playing Hobbs.
I'm always an optimist. I'd like to think that we would see that because my philosophy is...
Until things went pretty bad for the star. Although this feud wasn't started by The Rock himself, he still added fuel to the fire. In 2017, Gibson took shots at Johnson, blaming him for the huge delay in the release of Fast and Furious 9. He said because of Johnson's other commitments, the release is being delayed again and again. Of course, Johnson didn't take Gibson's words nicely.
That's what I want. I don't want to take a bite of that apple. I want to grab a new apple.
Why would he? But he stayed quiet about the whole situation until he appeared on a show called Watch What Happens Live a few months later. That is when he broke his silence. Johnson said that he hasn't talked at all with Gibson since the incident and that he isn't interested in this beef at all.
I'm really in a position now where I'm really grateful. You know, like with everything, it ebbs and flows. And
he said a beef requires two people, but this one was actually one-sided. Okay, this was clearly a very smart move by The Rock. By this statement, he took shots at Gibson, and at the same time, he didn't take any shots at Gibson.
What is the hardest? The hardest for me, what I'm realizing is just being 10 steps ahead and always making sure that you're 10 steps ahead just in terms of, especially when things go sideways.
But see, Gibson isn't the only Fast and Furious co-star Johnson has had problems with. There's also Vin Diesel, the battle of the two big bald guys.
When they do it, so if you're happy, go,
I'm good. Yeah, exactly. It was very challenging because of that.
Now, Johnson clearly wasn't happy with someone on the set of Fast and Furious because he posted a picture on his Instagram in 2016.
It's hard to fathom, but what it does do, it just gives me a real perspective now that I'm older and a dad myself.
Referring to one of his co-stars as a candy. Yikes! The caption also said that if at some point in the movie people feel like Johnson's acting isn't that good, it was because of that one person who had been unprofessional all the way.
I was enamored and motivated by the opportunity to play on a platform that I hadn't before.
Obviously, he deleted that post later, but it still was unclear who Johnson was referring to. I mean, those were some pretty harsh statements. He should at least tell the world who he's talking about. After months of guessing, it finally was revealed that Johnson was talking about none other than Vin Diesel. Fans of the franchise were shocked. These two were an important part of the franchise, and a feud between these two? What's even worse is that after all this beef, they had to face each other on the carpet of The Fate of the Furious. The two played it safe that night, saying that we still love each other, but Johnson did spill the beans a few years later. He was asked if he'll ever shoot a scene with Diesel again. Guess what he did? He pled the fifth. Crazy. And their beef also had an impact on The Fate of the Furious.
To feel, if a temperature goes high a little bit or they start to get sick a little bit, just thinking 10 steps ahead because then your instincts kick in.
Like they were barely seen together in the movie. I don't know if you might have noticed, but in Fate of the Furious, Johnson's and Vin's characters weren't together on the screen at the same time, like at all. This really messed up the shooting of the film as well.
On the tough love that I got. So because for years, and I know a lot of my friends, a lot of guys out there's a testosterone thing.
The two weren't willing to be present on the sets at the same time, making things really tough for the directors. I can only imagine how hard it would have been for the directors while filming. Dwayne confirmed that he had a face-to-face meeting with Vin, and they both agreed on the fact that both of them have different philosophies.
Let's start with the end goal, and if the end goal is to have some sort of crossover.
They both approach filmmaking in a totally different way. That is when they knew that they couldn't work together ever again. This is the only reason why he came up with his own Hobbs and Shaw spinoff. It was quite good, to be honest, but just when you thought things couldn't get worse, Dwayne did this. He thanked everyone except Vin Diesel after wrapping up filming. The Rock took to Instagram to thank everyone who was part of Fast and Furious 8. He mentioned almost every cast member in the caption of that very photo and and thanked them for being a part of the film. But fans noticed something fishy about that post. There was no mention of Vin Diesel at all. Not only Vin, but Michelle Rodriguez, Ludacris, and Jason Statham were also missing from that post. How could he have missed such important actors? Was it a mistake? I don't think so. But then again, he worked
To an event, what's going on years now. You know, as we all been challenged with COVID, this was a special one. We're closing out the year on a nice uptick.
with Statham on Hobbs and Shaw. The two had absolutely nothing between each other. No one knows what was going on in his mind. Dwayne didn't play safe at all with this one. Everything was out in the open. And while The Rock didn't hold back when it came to his Fast and Furious co-stars, with this next star, he did kind of play it safe. John Cena. See, the guys were pretty good friends.
No, it's the jacket. You pad the jacket up.
Are you padding this jacket?
Yes, of course
There's no
I am.
You're padding it with your own flesh is what you're padding it with.
A feud between the two? No one was actually quite ready for it, although the two are absolutely fine now, but years ago, things were about to get pretty bad between them. See, Cena took shots at Johnson saying that he might never return to wrestling ever again. He said that it pisses me off when Johnson says that he loves wrestling, but is still looking to make a career in Hollywood. The Rock obviously didn't stay quiet. He said he didn't like the tone of Cena at all. This could have been much worse, but thankfully, the beef didn't turn out as bad as people expected it to be. Both wrestlers turned actors actually did an amazing job hiding it, and in fact, they even used this beef to promote their match at WrestleMania 28 and 29. They wanted people to know that it was all meant for the ring and nothing was going on between the two outside. Johnson even said that John Cena will be starring in a movie produced by him, which he did. The movie was called Fighting with My Family. Things between the two are actually good now. Both stars have come a long way since then, which is great, and while not a lot of people expected a feud between these two, the last one's even more unexpected. Johnson's feud with Kevin Hart. Like, this duo is absolutely iconic.
We're celebrating the film, the filmmakers, everybody involved, because the work is done.
Whenever these two are on the screen, you can expect a serious dose of comedy, but their relationship isn't only limited to the big screen. We've seen them making fun of each other in their lives off the camera as well, and they don't hide it at all. Look, the thing is that Johnson is huge and Kevin Hart is small. While some may find it inappropriate to make fun of each other's bodies, these two have no problem doing it. We've seen countless memes on Johnson's Instagram in which he's making fun of Hart's height. He's even posted a photoshopped image of himself holding a small baby with Kevin Hart's face photoshopped onto the baby. That's just hilarious. And clearly, Kevin Hart is a really nice guy because he doesn't seem to mind this at all. These two are really good friends, actually. Hart has mastered the art of taking jokes, and that's why these two are still very good friends. I'm not sure some other celebrity would have taken it all this nicely. This definitely would have turned out to be much worse if it was someone else. We need more people like Kevin Hart. That's all from my side. These were some of the biggest Dwayne Johnson feuds.
Yes. I mean, look, you can't ask for anything better. We got a street full of fans. We got a red carpet, or